Hello everybody and welcome to the Bond Bulletin. It's been a great couple of days for Bond fans across the globe because First Light, the new Bond game by IO Interactive, has been revealed to the world. And of course there is a lot of hype around this new Bond game, which will tell the origin story of Bond before he got his license to kill. But, and that's where things get critical whenever I say but. I'm an avid gamer since the mid-90s. Everybody who knows me knows I play a lot of video games. Started really early to play on the computer, to play on consoles, of course. The Bond games, GoldenEye, to whatever, to the latest. I played them all, even 007 Legends. We come to that later. So, of course, I am also hyped to see footage of a new game being developed, being released, and it's been 5 years since the first teaser for this game behind me. Back then it was called Project 007, that was 5 years ago. Now we have an announcement teaser and Bond looks like this, the rebranded Bond. And that's where the problems start. Now, it is vital to understand, I don't want to rain on your parade. If you're really hyped for this game, I'm absolutely with you on that. Deep in my heart, I'm also very hyped for this game. Everything that has 007 or James Bond on it, you can give to me. But this is a video game. And what we have been presented with, the announcement teaser, is the big but. Because the announcement teaser showed me and all of you pretty much 80% of cutscene footage, pre-rendered cutscene footage, no actual gameplay, at least I didn't see any of it, substantial gameplay that would make me interested or invested into the game. That did not materialize for me. I have several reasons for that. The first thing is the origin story. It is nothing new, as they say it is. Actually, we could have had an origin story in 1987 with Timothy Dalton's first Bond film, The Living Daylights, because in the first draft, this was an origin story as well, Bond earning his license to kill. A thing that was later incorporated into Casino Royale, the first film of Daniel Craig, which started his successful run as 007 and relaunched the Bond franchise globally to major audiences, young and old. And while it is certainly interesting, it's this origin story concept that doesn't really fully vibe with me. I don't know why, I can't tell you exactly why, but looking at the teaser for First Light and seeing this rebranded young James Bond with a scar on his face, of course I've seen it, which is taken straight from Fleming's books. That's the description of how Bond looks like. It's a nice nod, but when you followed the creation and the release of Bond games over the years, they've always told us the same things. They always told us the same lines, bits, where they say, we've taken that character and we made this and we made that and we tried to make sure that, and that happened with 007 Legends as well. When you remember, it was the 50th anniversary of Bond and they put out 007 Legends, Activision Studios, and it was a massive, I have much more colorful words, but I won't use them. It was a massive failure as a video game, with critics and with fans across the globe. And they said exactly the same thing that they said now in the IO Interactive showcase for First Light, that they are very aware of the Bond IP and Bond's story, and that they try to stay as faithful to that as possible. That's what they said when 007 Legends came out. And remember what kind of game that was? Shite. It was impossible to play. The controls on the computer, keyboard and mouse, it was so off. It was pretty much unplayable in certain levels. When you had the ski level, for example, it was horrible. It was really horrible. So no wonder it flopped completely and almost put Activision out of business. I mean, they lost the Bond IP as a result of 007 Legends, and that was the last game that we got. Of course, it was a major letdown, and we don't want that to happen again. Now, I trust IO Interactive to do something good with the Bond IP, because I've played the Hitman games. I've played all of them since the year 2000, including the latest and World of Assassinations, and I play most of the first-person and third-person shooters that are out there. I shot my way through pretty much all the Battlefields, all the Call of Duties, the Wolfensteins, whatever you can find. Because I love that. I love to be transported into a world of either stealth or action, assassinations, menacing, threatening game environments. And the First Light teaser suddenly does not vibe with me in that way. It does not feel menacing or threatening. It feels like they are teasing an episode of James Bond Jr. That's what it felt like. It's very, very colorful, the graphics that we were shown in the announcement teaser. It's very, very colorful. There are a lot of colors. Nothing about it says it's menacing or there is some danger involved. I have no idea what the ratio is of stealth versus action. Is it like 50-50? Is it like... what? I need to know that as a gamer. I need to know, is it a stealth game? Is it an action game? Can I mix it up like I can do in the Hitman series? Can I go in all guns blazing or sneaking my way into whatever location they give me? That is important for me as a gamer to know. And everybody in marketing will tell you, especially when it has to do with games, you don't put out a teaser that is made up of 80 to 90% of cutscenes or pre-rendered footage. You show the gamers gameplay. It's as simple as that, because the product we are supposed to buy is a game. I want to see how it feels to play the game. And with this announcement teaser, we got nothing of that. There was absolutely zero gameplay footage in it. Same as with the showcase that IO Interactive had one or 2 days after the trailer was released, where the head of IO Interactive spoke about First Light on the stage, and he read everything from a teleprompter. It was down at his feet on the stage, and you can see his eyes always going to the teleprompter while he is speaking about First Light and how great this new Bond game is. Well, as I said before, the first teaser for First Light, where it was still called Project 007, was released in 2020. That's 5 years ago. If you've been working on a game for 5 years and you're putting out a showcase to people, gamers and press alike, you don't need to read from a teleprompter. I mean, that's what I tell my students that I teach in English. They have to do presentations in school as well. I say, as long as you know what you're talking about, you don't need a teleprompter. I don't need a teleprompter speaking to you right now, because I know what I'm talking about. When I buy a game, and AAA titles at the moment range from, in the euro region, from 79 euros to 100. This is a lot of money that I have to go to work for in a very difficult job that I have. And before I invest that kind of money into a AAA game title released by a major studio that I trust because the games are really good, still, I want to see some gameplay footage. I want to know what I actually do in the game, how it feels to play it, what I have to do. Is it sneaking? Is it all guns blazing? That's what I want to know first. Because once you buy the game and it's shite, your day will not be as good. And the thing is, if they only use cutscenes and pre-rendered footage in a gameplay teaser, it tells me that the game is not finished. Not at all. I mean, the release date is next year. It could be 1 year off. It's now the summer of 2025. When they release in summer 2026, that's still a whole year, and a lot can happen in 1 year. However, they had 5 years already developing Project 007, and when you monitored the website closely, they were always looking for staff to work on the new Project 007 game, and actually they are still looking for animators for First Light. So this tells me the game is nowhere near finished. And maybe they just have some rendered cutscenes thrown together for a teaser to hype us up. But sorry, IO, not enough. It's not enough for me to be invested in whatever you're planning, whatever you're trying to put in front of us. We have to see more. There will, of course, be more this summer. They will reveal bits and pieces from the game, hopefully some gameplay footage, because, as I said, this is vital for the product I want to buy. It is a game. I want to see how it feels to actually play it and not watch some highly stylized cutscenes with the graphics being debatable, if you like it or not. I don't need photorealistic games. There is one very interesting thing in that regard. I will play you a little clip of what the head of IO Interactive said when he presented the brands that they are working with for First Light. Just, of course, Omega and Aston Martin, Land Rover and NVIDIA. And he says this tiny little line that some of you might not have heard or understood correctly. Listen to this.
And we are working closely with NVIDIA to bring the latest ray tracing technology to First Light.
Now, for me, this brings back bad memories of the latest Indiana Jones game, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, because they also worked together with NVIDIA and introduced mandatory ray tracing, which makes the game look incredibly good. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a really good looking game. It is so good looking, but it needs a lot of processing power. It needs a good graphics card. Actually, the best on the market. And when they say for First Light working together with NVIDIA to present the best ray tracing experience, some of us will not be able to play First Light. And that is something that I really don't like, because from the get-go you exclude a lot of players that don't have access to the latest technology and will not be able to play First Light unless they buy a console like PS5, but that still costs a lot of money. The graphics card for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, they range from, well, if you go for the recommended settings, you like 200 euros up to 400, 500 euros for a graphics card that can handle that game. Mine couldn't. So I resorted to cloud gaming for Indiana Jones. I bought the game and played it in the cloud, which worked really well. I think with First Light, this will be the same. They will try to make it as good looking as possible with ray tracing. Whether it is mandatory or not, we will see. If it is mandatory and your computer can't handle it, if you play on a computer system, you will not be able to play First Light. I'm 98% confident that this will be the case. That is something to look out for. As great as the hype is around First Light, remember, you might not be able to play it because of NVIDIA's ray tracing. Yeah, you might not even get the chance. It might not even start up when you install it. And that is something that is very important for us gamers to know. And I want to know this up front. And I have not seen that information somewhere at the moment. So what I hope for is that in these 5 years, when we got the first teaser, you know, with that gun barrel thing and the bullet is loaded into the gun, that was in 2020. So they had 5 years to polish and shape this origin story that they want to tell. So I hope not only a lot of thought went into that, but a lot of technical expertise to make the game feel good for all ages and all kinds of players, because there are different kinds of players. No, we are all different in what we expect from a game. So it's very difficult for a studio to match that 100%. It won't work. The game is for some people, but not for all of them. I will tell you a little side story, because my friend Yannick, who does a lot of music for my videos, and I've known him for decades now, almost decades, I think, yeah, 1 decade, over a decade. And he is so great in adapting or picking up new technologies, and he is working on a game that you might have heard about. It's called Dangerous Connections. We had several features here on the channel, and there will be much more throughout this year. And he pretty much did this game by himself. And whenever he shows me something from that game, I am reminded that he is basically one person who spends a lot of his free time into this game. And it is a Cold War spy thriller espionage game. And that's exactly how it looks and feels like and how it vibes, because it looks menacing. It's Russia in the winter, there's forest, and there's a lot of bad guys. Fantastic weapon sounds, and Yannick invests not only his expertise in making a game, which is really difficult. I can't do it. I tried it. I tried to work with game engines. No, I'm just too stupid. I say it as it is. I'm just too stupid. But Yannick, he has mastered that, but learned it from zero to hero, as I would call it. And I heard this year we will see the first gameplay footage, which is important. As I said before, you need gameplay footage, and you will see it exclusively here on my channel, the Bond Bulletin. You will see the first gameplay footage here. And he showed me a little bit when I visited him in Switzerland recently. And since we're already working on GoldenEye, the 30th anniversary on a video series, speaking about GoldenEye, he sent me this little clip of the famous dam where Pierce Brosnan bungee jumped from, you know, in 1995's GoldenEye. And he recreated that in his game engine, and it will be one of the levels of his game, Dangerous Connections. If anything that IO Interactive has done in the past 5 years looks as incredible as this does, then I'm sold. But only then. And this shot that you just saw took like 3 weeks to make. Now imagine, they had 5 years. IO Interactive had 5 years. It could be a fantastic Bond game, but for the moment, I see a lot of things that are off with me personally as a gamer. A lot of things I don't like, but they could change, of course. The hype is there, and it's good that it's there, because we have had nothing from Bond in the past couple of years. Since No Time to Die was released, we don't have a new actor. Barbara Broccoli and Michael Wilson handed over the reins to Amazon. It's a very uncertain time at the moment for the film franchise and ultimately us fans. So having a new Bond game, no matter how it looks and feels, is a good thing. But I just say, be cautious, look at everything before you buy, and let's wait for some gameplay footage. That's the most important thing. With that being said, thank you very much for tuning into the Bond Bulletin. Stay up to date with subscribing to my channel. Like a few videos if you want to. There's a lot to explore on the channel from years back, and I will try to put out videos more regularly. I have been off for some time now because of private things and work mainly. I work a lot, but as I said a couple of minutes ago, the 30th anniversary of GoldenEye is coming up, and Yannick and me, we've been to Switzerland. Well, he lives there, but I visited him, and we went down to the GoldenEye Dam, and we filmed some spectacular footage and also met someone who was crucial to the production on location in Switzerland, and he has never been interviewed before. So, and of course there will be more 3D renderings in there to show you exactly how the scenes in Switzerland were filmed. So stay tuned and have a fantastic day, Bond fans. Bye bye.